Hey everyone, it's Darren Benton with Performance Motorcoaches. Want to do a video of our very first 2025 Renegade Explorer. We've had this coach on our website for about a week and a half, but we took a little hiatus with July 4th with our team all over Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin. So I appreciate my guys coming up, but it's back to work. So 2 days after July 4th, actually this is 3 days after July 4th. So this coach is going to Texas later on today, but wanted to make sure we had a good thorough walkthrough of this. Probably be some things that I'm gonna miss in the video talking about 24 to 25, kind of some of the differences, but we will just go ahead and jump into it. So as of 2025, you only have two floor plans. You have the 38 and the 40. The 38 is a simple mid-bath, the 40 is a bath and a half. The floor plans really haven't changed throughout the product's inception. Basically, this Explorer came out in 2022. They've kept everything pretty much the same with mild little differences. You'll see some differences in trim on the inside that I will kind of pinpoint. So exterior-wise, I did Stratus, which has kind of been our go-to since 2022. The replacement is Hemisphere. You know, I was apprehensive about doing the new paint scheme for the 2025, and so I thought, well, I'll just do this as a Stratus. Oddly enough, we've had pretty good response doing the Stratus versus the new Hemisphere. I think it's kind of one of those things where, new things come along and people don't like new, but people will change in time. But anyway, so this coach is available. Like I said, it will be at a dealership late tomorrow or Tuesday morning. Back in Texas, if anybody wants to see it, let us know. Chassis-wise, all the chassis have been the same up until this coming year, or this year. So this is the Cascadia 113, so a little bit shorter hood. So if it does not have the little line in here, that's kind of a dead giveaway on your intake. If it's the 116, the 126, you'll see a big line right here. So basically, 116 versus 126. I don't even think that you could, I don't believe you could even order a 600 horse. That probably wouldn't allow you at all. The chassis itself has a DD13, which is 525 horsepower, 1850 torque, and up until now, they all had a Allison 6-speed transmission. We do have a unit that's coming along that is a 40, that's solid white in color, and does have the DT transmission. So pretty excited to get back behind the wheel of that DT transmission. In fact, I'll probably drive it home just to kind of get the feel for it. We've built a lot of coaches with the DT12. That's kind of my preferred transmission. But this one does have the Allison, which is perfectly fine. It's just a matter of what you're become accustomed to. If you've driven 100 of them, you will know the difference between them. But if you've driven one or two of them, you probably really won't know any difference whatsoever. So great power combination. Aesthetics. I've always liked the way the Explorer looks. You have elevated front and rear caps to match your awning lines. Renegade really kind of knocked it out of the park on the Explorer. There were a few things that I wasn't a fan of, basically some options for the chassis, which we have now. And then additionally, soft touch walls were an option in the past. Let me help my camera person, she's getting warm already. Soft touch, so 2025 soft touch, I think that basically kind of completes the product. So very happy to have the soft touch vinyl walls for 2025. So not much difference, compartment layout. Aquahot 450 has been standard. It does have an option 25 for the Starlink, which we've been doing as a option from the factory, not doing any of the satellites. So basically, I guess starting 23, the combined storage compartments, everything 23 and newer had the combined, actually it was 24. 450 Aquahot standard. Sorry, did not open that. So single Girard awning up here. That is a two-stage awning that goes out and downward. This is basically just a fake profile, which matches the other side. So aesthetics kind of ties everything in. Wider windows, glad I didn't forget that. They went 48-inch wide window to a 54. Not been able to talk them into going to a taller window as of yet, but it does have a little bit wider window up front. So like I said, decent storage right back here. Central vac is standard as well. So 20,000-pound hitch on the back. It does have receptacles for glad hands. You do have your camera input, and then your regular 7-way trailer plug there. So 32-foot shore cord, it is 50 amp. The smart transfer switch that will let you know what kind of amps you're drawing. Additionally, the incoming voltage inside the coach. And then you do have the 110 receptacle back up in there. Standard generator will be an 8K generator. No option for anything larger than that on the Explorer. So about the only real option here in the wet bay is the macerator pump, basically what they call the flow jet. So that is basically a pumping system for your waste, for your gray and your black. They did a little bit larger water filter there. Of course, the filter is not in place. My assumption on the larger water filter, for anybody that's seen any of the forums that's had units in the past, have complained about basically the water filter getting restricts the flow within like once or twice of filling it. So we've not filled any of these yet to kind of know where we're at, but that's essentially a new water filter for 2025 and newer. There is a hydronic register within that bay, and then you can tell your temperature all off your Firefly, and you do have sea level monitoring inside there. Let me get that while I'm thinking about it. So a little sea level panel right there to let you know your gray, your black, and your fresh. So 75 gray, 75 gallon black. So did a little something different. They are optioning dual inverters for 2025. So essentially we've got the 3 GC3s there on the left and then the 2 inverters on the right. I was told initially that you could not stick 4 batteries in this, so it was optioned as this. We're gonna see if we can't fit another one in there once it gets back to the dealership. But essentially wanted to know, we like the idea of doing the dual inverters. In the past, we always would add an air conditioner to the single inverter, but this is basically allows a little bit more convertibility on running things, inverting, and also whenever you're passing through. You'll notice a much larger solar controller on this guy. So there again, that's an option to be able to do additional panels, be able to take a little bit, be able to utilize the real estate up top. So 5 panels, I think they're 200 watts a piece, so decent amount. And like I said, we have 3 of the GC3s, which is 270 amp hours per battery. Very easy cab entry. No real difference on the cab. Essentially, right about a little over a year ago is whenever they went to the full digital dash. 23 and newer, they went with the Sears seats and just recovered them. They do add heat to them from Renegade, and they are turning pedestals themselves. A little bit different. Battery disconnect. You can actually put a lock on it. I guess keep your teenage kids from stealing the motorhome. You put a lock right there. So I think that's more industrial wise. No other real difference in the chassis itself. Does have blind spot monitoring. All of these will have, I'm gonna leave this open so I can kind of rearrange that so it doesn't rub the door. They will all have lane departure warning. They all have adaptive cruise and crash mitigation. So we try to air out the coaches. We basically leave them running. You'll see we have the windows open to kind of air the new coach smell out a little bit. So you can see lots of room with the coach completely closed up. Essentially, this is just a single seating group on the 40, the 38. It does have the opposing seating, much different configuration on the 38, but You take and plop right here. You can see I can still get to the half bath here. This is going to drive me nuts. We got to cut the door so that way it will go over the, I don't know if that was if something's different, but I figured most people will have some kind of a mat here and want to be able to clear that. So it's going to drive me nuts. So anyway, we can obviously get here. I'll probably take and pull this out of the way once we get everything opened up. So I'm going to run some of the slides. So hydraulic slide on the right hand side here, still the Schwintek kitchen slide. They've done a few different things with slide motors in the past, and it seems to have corrected most of the walking slides in the past. Periodically, it's been about probably 8 to 10 months since we've had to adjust any of the kitchen slides on any of the Renegades, so kind of welcome that. So if you notice, this trim is a little bit different around the slides, and then they also, I kind of classed up the air conditioner, so instead of just seeing that plastic piece, they did a little bit of ceiling trim and also the intake here. So taking, my fingers are kind of fat, so I can't really get in here too well. Doesn't come out. So in years past, you basically just kind of saw this plastic piece. Kind of gives it a nice little look to it. Guys at Double L do a phenomenal job at kind of bringing all the pieces together as far as the trim, including, of course, it's inspired by Renegade. Whenever I first saw this, I thought it was a very modern feel. There again, just kind of a matter of preference, but this is basically what you would see for 2025. A little bit different cabinet door as well for 25. This is Denali, which is basically the gray toned interior with Cape Cod. Cape Cod will go gray or tan with relative ease. Rockport is definitely a more gray toned stain, but the nice thing about the Cape Cod is one of the lightest stains, and like I said, it will go either way. Looking at this, if you can take this piece of furniture right here and put it in a different coach with Rockport, and this furniture will appear more gray. It appears more earth tone while it's in here, just strictly because of the stain itself. So kind of keep that in mind if you're looking at different units. So Denali is the most common interior decor, but will look very different depending upon the stain itself. So not much difference here, but relatively large pantry. I'll kind of open up a few things. I'm trying to think of any differences. I don't recall any differences from the previous units to this one. I'll have to go back and kind of study a little bit more. I was able to get those to change the countertop color. So previously the countertop color on the Denali was Aurora Cloud, which is a lot more gray. This has more white to it. This is Aurora Cream. That was another thing that I kind of fought for. It was like, well, if we're doing it, in my opinion, we should be able to pick, if we can pick a different stain, why can't we pick a different countertop as long as it's underneath the Renegade Explorer lineup? And really and truly, same for some of the tiles and backsplashes as well, as long as they have it in-house. So I was definitely happy to see getting a little bit lighter countertop, the Aurora Cream versus Aurora Cloud. So I can't recall any difference there. I think that sink is the same. That window might be slightly larger, but the number one things inside were basically some of the trim and the cabinet doors. No real difference in the furniture. So this is Villa furniture. Your outdoor TV is right there. It is convertible dinette, so you can sleep. Run these rear slide outs out. Nice big cabinet right there. Hang up a jacket or a dog leash there. See the Starlink there. And then for 25 they went to a Teton router, so even though the Starlink's there, the router is up front. Oh, and also they went from the Vega Touch to the Mira to the Vega Touch, which allows remote access. So as long as you have some type of internet on board, you can remote access, turn your generator on, check your temperatures, check your battery, everything like that, all remotely versus Bluetooth in the past. So we'll come back here. First thing that I'll kind of point out is they added this cabinet set right here. We joked you could put all your playing card selection right there. You know, every single deck of playing cards will easily store right there. You don't need any more room than that for your playing cards. Can't really think of anything different here. Like I said, just additional, you know, that the trim, the AC cover up here, ceiling fan. I really can't do a ceiling fan up front because of a little bit lower ceilings, but it makes it nicer right here to have a little bit of air movement. And then nothing really changed here other than a little bit different cover on this. That's one thing that I've kind of pushed on some of the other models, was people are getting away. They basically are doing all streaming, so getting away from satellite. So if a customer said, hey, I really want, you know, the cabinet door like this, or, you know, hey, could we possibly do a drawer, you know, either whether it's one big drawer right there or two single drawers. That's the things I'm trying to push, just have a little bit more storage. So keep in mind, on all of the Explorers ever since the product came out, if you'll notice, most of the other XLs, or in fact all the XLs and Classics, basically the closets come all the way out, and then there is like a lower portion, so the mattress itself will mate and go underneath the cabinets. Explorers, they don't do that. So 75-inch long mattress. Now for the people that are taller, we generally will replace the mattress with a flip over mattress to allow a little bit longer mattress, but standard on all the Explorers is 75. Kind of a big deal for me. I know I have to kind of cram my head all the way up there. I don't like my feet going anywhere near the edge of the bed, so kind of keep that in mind. Maybe in time we'll see some redevelopment of this. To me, I would rather have more depth of the closet, more cabinet room, and then, you know, just know that down below it's going to be an inset to be able to basically accommodate that mattress. And maybe that's something we'll see in time, but I just see, you know, a little bit, I see room that I feel could be accessed by, and it really wouldn't change the overall look of it, bringing these out just a little bit, getting a little bit deeper cabinets, deeper closet and such. So these are kind of hard to see. You want to go back on the toilet? But definitely there's a lot of room in this back bath. Initially I was not a fan of having the washer dryer back here, but due to just the confines of having a smaller coach, you kind of have to think outside the box and figure out a way to accommodate more things in smaller rooms. So you've got, you know, because you have smaller closets right there, it's nice to have this big closet right here. And then down here, we could easily take and put some type of a hanging rod down below if you didn't need these there again. If you wanted to do some kind of convertible shelves, we could take and add shelves above that for anybody that might need that. Great shoe rack. So one thing that I learned, this was almost a year and a half ago, so we've been selling the product for quite some time. This shower is the same shower as the 38, so kind of keep that in mind. I was like, well, if I go with the 40, I want the big shower. Well, it's the exact same size. I can obviously get you guys the dimensions. It's not coming right off the top of my head, but I think that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 32 by 28. But the shower doesn't change from the 38 to the 40, just kind of FYI. So you don't necessarily need the soap on the rope, but it is a little bit tighter. No real difference in any of this from the previous product. Slide this down. Skylight is standard, just for people a little bit taller. If you got a lot of hair going to town, then I'll pop out of here. So like I said, it's a little awkward doing this, but like I said, you're in a 40-foot coach that's a bath and a half. So prop here, throw there, back there, do the motions. A lot of the diesel pushers do a washer dryer here in the back, so I kind of get that to be able to kind of conserve space. So convertible shelves there on the right. We do have the dual vanity plugs there. And then you'd see some decent amount of room. You've got your water shut off for your washer dryer right there. That'll shut off both your hot and your cold. So underneath here, we do have two 75-gallon water tanks. And then they do small things that make basically coach operation a little bit easier. So you have this gate valve instead of having a really small valve or having to go somewhere else. So if you need to dump the water out of the coach, you got this monster gate valve in and out really fast. You do have your two hydronic registers there. Again, if you need to inspect those, service those, everything's really easy to get to. And then come time to winterize the coach, you basically take this guy right here, put it into your RV antifreeze, flip this valve, and start sucking the RV antifreeze into your system rather than have to take and pull any kind of extra hose out. Everything is here. It's very easy to get to as well. I'm trying to think of anything else that I might have missed. I think that's pretty much covers everything. We have to get in here. I gotta move this. You wanna come through? I knew that I couldn't do that. Like I said, we'll get the very bottom of the door knocked off, so get a little more room here. I believe that the faucets, did the faucets change? The other faucets don't ring a bell, but these faucets, so 25 faucets. I do know that the 25 XL faucets changed to chrome. I'll be interested to see what people think about that when one of our 25 models come in. So a fair amount of room, like I said, for a 40-foot coach. Even somebody a little bit bigger. They did change the wall trim here. It's a big trim. It's a big piece of trim. So try to be as positive as possible. But I guess to get the soft touch wall, that was really what I wanted, and really kind of what I felt the product should have all along was the soft touch walls. Easier to clean, just kind of gives it a little bit higher end feel versus the wallboard. The problem with the wallboard, you saw wallboard in travel trailers, so to have basically wallboard in essentially what's a $500,000 coach, that's something that I wasn't very happy. So I'm really happy to see the soft touch vinyl walls. I talked previously about the floor height dropping to make this perfectly straight. I can tell no difference. I'm still trying to figure out the mystery. This is like the Roswell spacecraft landing, so I don't know. I wish I knew more about this, but I can't tell any difference in that. And I was excited about the floor height dropping a little bit, taking a few inches out of the steps, but I don't believe we have seen that for 2025. As I previously mentioned right there, that's the Teton router. So I believe that is 4G instead of 5G. The idea back behind that, I believe the 4G works a lot better with the Vega Touch. Back in the day, it's kind of funny, I remember, back whenever they had so many different controls within this guy right here, and everything's integrated into the Firefly. And I always thought it was kind of a little funky to have things up here because it was so far away from the entry. So, but still a place. Droid awning controls right there, and then you can do basically your satellite control would all work there, and then everything integrates back to your TV back over here. So that pretty much sums it up. Like I said, the coach is available, Stratus in color, Denali interior with Cape Cod We do have that DT powered, so basically it's a DD13 with a DT12 coming in probably about 3 weeks. So this coach sells and you're interested in a solid white one, or really wanted that DT12, it'll be the first DT12 Explorer that's ever been built. So pretty excited about that, just to have something different for people that, you know, kind of might know the difference between the Allison and the DT. But appreciate you guys watching this video. We've got several coaches that are coming out next week. Great to have a little lull for July 4th. My guys had a great time with us as well. So anybody that's contacted us, we've kind of been MIA for about a week and a half, but Monday we'll be here before you know it. Lots of deliveries. We have some show hauler deliveries. We've got our first 2025 LE that'll be coming out next week. The LE will have line baggage compartments. It will have dual inverters. It'll have 5 solar panels. So it'll have a lot of different things that have never been offered in the past. Renegade is slowly saying yes a little bit more at times. So, you know, for somebody that wants something a little bit different than a stock unit, make sure you guys reach out to us, because those are the things we can generally kind of persuade them that a lot of other dealers, A, don't want to do, or B, they're not capable of. Of course, we can do so many things there at the dealership as well. We have a great team to do anything to these coaches, adding, you know, Starlink to used coaches, adding additional batteries, dual inverters, different furniture, ceiling fans. I mean, we could basically add anything that you can really imagine to them. We work really well with Double L, which Double L provides all the wood for Renegade. So many things we could take and change out after the fact. You know, you could say, hey, Darren, we love this coach. I want to open this up, and I wanted to build a slide-out bar, or hey, we want to be able to put a dog crate in there. So very cool that Double L will work with us and be able to kind of individualize the coach for you guys. So we'll do another video starting probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Check us out there. Check out our website, pmcrv.com. This coach will be on the road here in about an hour. If you catch it going from here to Texas, make sure you guys wave at Mike. Make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe.